Well, hello, Sheriff Matt Allard, Audrain County, Missouri. I'm talking a little rough today because I'm getting over some kind of sinus thing or flu thing or something, and had some coughing and stuff going on, and it's pretty terrible. I was down for about 4 days, but gave me some time to think about what to talk about next. So, as a sheriff, I get a lot of questions about home defense. Missouri, as most people know, Missouri is a castle doctrine state, and when people ask me about home defense, sometimes the question gets around to what gun to use for home defense. And I give everybody the same advice that I take myself, is that I have a pistol on my nightstand in my bedroom, but in the corner of the bedroom stands a 12-gauge pump shotgun. My personal opinion, probably the best home defense gun that you can have on hand. And people will debate about the best guns for various tasks, but in my opinion, when it's 2 in the morning, something goes bump in the night, it wakes you up, there's an intruder in your home, anything, number one, you're not super awake, right? So grabbing something the second you get out of bed while you're still 3/4 asleep is probably not a good move. So if you have to get up and walk across the room to grab something, you wake up a little bit. But the other thing is you don't have to necessarily have your eyes rubbed open. You don't necessarily have to have your glasses on. You don't necessarily have to be in such shape that you need to aim well for a shotgun to be effective. It's always been said, you aim a rifle or a handgun, you point a shotgun. And shotguns can be had fairly economically, right? So this is a Mossberg 500, 18-inch barrel. I picked this up used at a gun store for $200 recently. So, you know, there's probably old shotguns out there that people have traded in that can be had cheaper, that are perfectly dependable. If they've got a longer barrel, plenty easy enough to cut a barrel down to just over 18 inches. Make sure it's over 18. For those of you asking, yes, it's completely legal to saw off a shotgun barrel as long as it's not shorter than 18 inches. Like this, I think from the factory, this is 18.5. Because I think the federal law states no less than 18 inches. So most factory cut barrels are 18.25 or 18.5, just to make sure that there's no question about legality. And something else to keep in mind, when these barrels are measured, they're measured from the breech face to the end of the barrel, right? So the best way to do it is to take a dowel rod, close the chamber, take a dowel rod, stick it in until it touches the breech face, mark the dowel rod, measure it, because it's not 18 inches from here, it's 18 inches from back here. So there are all kinds of different shotguns too. Everybody has their preference. Remington 870 is pretty popular. Mossberg, nothing wrong with those. Even the cheaper Maverick 88 guns are made by Mossberg. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there with guys messing around with Maverick 88s that have pretty good luck with them. As far as versatility goes, loads for shotguns are really versatile. And shotgun ammunition, even when ammunition's in short supply, you can usually find shotgun ammo, especially if it's 12 gauge. Again, you know, even if you can only find birdshot, it's better than a butter knife. But you can typically always find a flavor of buckshot to use in a pump shotgun for defensive purposes or for home defense or whatever the case may be. I am not a fan of shotguns in the law enforcement world. there are probably going to be cops that get on here and argue with me. But years ago, I was involved in a shooting, and I saw a stray pellet miss a target and almost hit another police officer that was somewhere off to the side. You got to keep in mind you're turning loose of multiple bullets every time you pull the trigger on this thing. And, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, we have to be accountable for every bullet that leaves the barrel as civilian law enforcement officers. So they have their place, but not as widespread as most people would think. So this, the Mossberg 500 series, the magazine tube holds 5. Remingtons hold 4, unless you put an extension on them. Most hold 4. Mossberg holds 5. So the way I keep this in my home is I keep it in what's called cruiser ready. I close the chamber, verify it's empty. Close the chamber, drop the hammer, which means pull the trigger, load the magazine tube full, and that's how it sets. That way, whenever I or my wife pick it up, all we have to do is cycle the action, and it's ready to fire. That's it. I don't keep the safety on. With the chamber empty, there's no need for the safety to be on. If you don't drop the hammer, if you just merely load the magazine and the hammer is cocked, then the action is locked. And if you wake up or you need a shotgun and you have to cycle the action, then you have to find this lock release, this little button right there. You have to be able to find that, push it to be able to work the action. That is a fine motor skill. Under stress, fine motor skills go away. Coarse motor skills is all you have left. And this is a coarse motor skill. This, trying to find that little button, is a fine motor skill. So, chamber empty, hammer down, magazine loaded, safety off. So, when you pick it up, all you have to do is run the gun. My preferred load, I'm going to have to move this phone just a second. Uh-oh. So my preferred load is number 4 buckshot. And I'll tell you why. So our double-aught buck is the most common that people like to use. Double-aught buck is 34 caliber pellets. And there's 9 of them in a standard 2 3/4 inch shell, which is great. However, the number 4 buck, the FBI messed around with this several years ago, and they talked about the benefits of number 4 buck. And I firmly believe that the benefits of number 4 buck far outweigh double-aught buck, especially for home defense. So number 4 buck, a 2 3/4 inch shell, and this one's clear. But you can see those are 24 caliber pellets. So a little bit bigger than a 22 bullet. And there's 27 of them in each shell. So when you're talking about home defense, unless you live in the Taj Mahal, you're probably going to be talking 15, 20 yards is all you're going to be able to see. So I actually, my bedroom is at the far end of my house. There are no entryways down there. So when I come out of my bedroom door and I look to my right, I look down the hallway of bedrooms and I can see into my dining room and kitchen. And all 3 of the ways into my house, or actually 4, are down on that end of the house. So whenever somebody comes in, they have to go through that main part of my house. So I actually stepped that off and figured out that it was the furthest I could see someone in my house would be about 25 yards. Now there are some corners and things like that, but if I had a clear line of sight to a person, the furthest would be 25 yards. But more than likely, in the part of the house that I can see the best, it's right at 19 yards. So, downrange, I've put the target stand, and again, poor people have poor ways. I've just put some plain brown wrapping paper that my wife had in the house that she didn't know I stole. And we're going to put one of these, we're going to pattern one of these on that paper, just plain paper, no holes in it. And we're going to go down and take a look at what number 4 buck does coming out of a 18.5-inch cylinder bore shotgun. And then we'll talk a little bit more about why I think this is probably the best option for home defense at ranges that you would use a shotgun for home defense for. All right, here we go. So we'll go down and take a look. And this gun, I think, prints maybe a little high, but so you can see, if I can get back far enough, I hope you can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. 27 pellets. And you can, I don't know, I wish I could do this better, but you can see if I turn sideways, that pattern is about the size of my torso. So, and the reason I like that number 4 buck is because based on that pattern, let me flip this camera around and what we're looking at. Yeah, look at all that. So if that were a torso of a man, which it's about for a torso, you can see when I stand in front of that target, I'm pretty much torso sized. That I don't think there would be a major organ that didn't have a hole in it. Be springing 27 leaks, that's a lot. So, and the idea behind home defense is to make sure whoever's in your home cannot do you harm. Man, I tell you, handguns are cool. I like handguns, but if someone were in my house, they would get greeted by a 12-gauge shotgun with number 4 buckshot loaded in it. It's just, in my opinion, it is absolutely the most solid home defense method of firearm that you can come across. A novice can be taught how to run a pump shotgun. It's very simple mechanism to operate. Very dependable, very reliable. Provided you don't short stroke, you know, you gotta work it like you mean it. You're not gonna break it. You gotta hit it hard. You know, again, these shotguns can be found sitting on a dealer's shelf used for a couple $100, even if they've got a long barrel. Again, keep the long barrel or take a hacksaw to it and chop it off, as long as you don't go less than 18 inches. But you can see why I think the 12-gauge shotgun loaded with number 4 buck is probably the most viable option that a person could come up with for home defense. So anyway, well, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're gaining some headway, but as I continue to recover from whatever this is, I've got a few more ideas that are going to be kind of cool. One of them will be really cool. But anyway, until the next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Sheriff Matt Oller, Audrain County.